Hey,
We're in the same space.
we're in the same space.
It must be summer.
And it's our lunch hour, so we decided to just do this on our lunch hour
Exactly.
from now on.
No, it's good. It's good. I like this. I like the fact that it's kind of weird when you regain that vibe in person.
Yeah. And look, I kind of match with the background. I like that.
We get our background again, as opposed to your house and my house.
Hey, cool.
We're back in the studio, so it's fun.
Yeah.
So happy summer.
Happy summer.
It's warm. It's actually shockingly warmer here in Ontario, Northern Ontario, than it is in Southern Texas. I know someone who was down there and saying it's actually like 5 degrees Celsius cooler
Really?
down there than it is up here.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Well, it's nice here, although, we don't really see it because we're usually working.
Exactly.
So it's nice to be here. Nice to chat. And I heard you're going to talk about some new exciting things that are happening.
So I think it's very weird. So I think LinkedIn went through a COVID weirdness. Okay. So LinkedIn before COVID was very focused on their professional posts.
Except for that story blip they did for a while.
Well, that's where it started.
Yeah.
I really feel that LinkedIn went through a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Literally. And that was where it started. They started with stories and that failed.
Right.
And then they thought they would get into the whole creator
world,
right?
Yeah, the creator button, I turned mine on.
But they made it sound cool. So a lot of the, influencers, social media creators, all of that kind of stuff started to come on LinkedIn. So they wanted to attract that sort of clientele, right, which was viral posts, selfies.
Yes.
Right. It became very Facebook, Instagram-ish, and
which
people were
very weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And then they also went through, they got very focused on the carousel posts.
Oh, yeah.
Which again was very Instagram, Facebooky, right?
Yeah.
And the problem, I feel what happens is when they sort of scream it from the rooftops and say, we are going to focus our efforts with our algorithm on the carousel posts, because that's what we feel are more beneficial to the people on LinkedIn.
Agreed.
Well, guess what happens? Everybody does carousel post, and it doesn't go well. It doesn't work because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So then it messes up.
It was annoying.
It was annoying because every single solitary person was doing it.
Yeah, we have to do carousels. Remember, we even know somebody who just started doing that 2 weeks ago.
We have to do carousel posts because that's what they say to do, and everyone starts doing it. So LinkedIn took a big halt and finally realized what they do best, which is focusing on informational, educational-based posts.
Right.
Not carousels. They're still doing sort of what they call the PDF posts,
right,
which was sort of documents in a few pages, and they're still going to focus on that. But the algorithm is going to go back to the way it was, which was posts that are going to be informative,
right,
educational, full of information that is going to be valuable to your audience. And the funny part, again, going back to what they were attracting, was that viral information.
Right.
What they're focusing on, again, going back to, again, after their midlife crisis, is to go back to focusing content and showing it to your connections and followers.
Okay. There you go.
Like, what a shocker. So
amazing.
If you're on LinkedIn and you're posting informational-based content, it will be shown to your followers and connections so that you can actually stay connected to your followers and connections.
Wow. So they announced that yesterday?
Last week. So I'm very happy because I really didn't like the direction that LinkedIn was going. I kind of stopped talking about LinkedIn for a while because I was like,
You did.
I did, because I just didn't love it. I was like, why are you?
Yeah.
So their midlife crisis is over.
Yeah.
They've gone back to what they do best, which is that professional platform, information-based posts, educational for your followers and connections.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I would say to them, good that they tried everything out, right? Yep. Because sometimes, and we've done it too, you have to try things out to know that, you know what, didn't really work for us. And we've done it more times than we can even count. And that's the important part, because as things are shifting, LinkedIn as well has to go, okay, what are we going to change here? And we were just talking about, how the retail landscape is dying. And so the smart guys, how are we going to get into this? How are we going to fix it? How are we going to follow what's changing in the marketplace so that we don't go bankrupt, basically, right?
Well, you do need to follow trends, and I
Yeah.
get that. But sometimes, like LinkedIn, going back to what they do best in regards to
Yeah.
getting their information out, good job. But for the most part, you do have to follow what is happening in the marketplace.
You have to.
So if you're staying, you know, like the big box retail stores really haven't changed their model very much. Some of them have moved to being really amazing online, and some
Yeah.
of them have not.
Right. And that's the difference. And you know what? So for me, there's a really simple one for a lot of retail stores. You know, they jumped in e-commerce because they realized everyone was doing it. Here's the problem. You have to be able to ship like Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? You
absolutely.
cannot, no one's going to wait 14 days for you to get your act together
Yeah.
and ship. So if I was head of operations at one of the big retailers, the first thing I would do is not forget social media and everything else. First thing I would do is, how are we going to change our model to ensure that we can literally ship overnight or within 48 hours?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I mean, delivered, not like we're going to ship your item and, you know, like, didn't you love those days? Like, seriously, if you still go on to Walmart or Bed Bath and Beyond, are they still alive?
No,
or they're dead?
They're dead.
No, see, that's why they died.
Exactly.
Because they couldn't ship. But if you go to any of those big ones, you know, what's interesting is they'll say, you know, you'll order it and then they'll tell you the shipping.
Yeah.
Right. Which is not cool.
No.
You want to know when Amazon does it in advance. They say your thing's going to be there on Wednesday. Okay, click, I'm going to buy it.
And sometimes that's the determining factor.
Yeah, it totally
Right?
determining. I only click my Prime button and the first product that can get there is the one I buy. Right?
It's true. It's
So-
true. But they didn't follow, they didn't follow the trends. They stayed stuck in their world. They stayed rigid to, I expect people are going to walk into the store and
Yeah.
buy. And that is getting to be a smaller and smaller population as the population grows.
Right.
And as the population gets older. Because, you know, the generation that was just before us are still very focused on, you know, going into the store face to face.
They
I want
are.
to feel, touch, and see before I buy.
Right.
And I can physically do that. If I don't like it, I'll return it. The
Yeah.
online is still a little, I think about my mom, right? Like the online is still a little, not really sure. She loves Amazon though.
But I mean, when you think about that, it's like I went with somebody older to the phone store, right? And I tried to explain that you've got more selection online because you're going to go to Bell or Rogers and they're going to have 4 phones in stock that you can pick from, right? Whereas if you order from them online, you'll have 200 to pick from. So, you know, you have to understand that actually you have a better selection. And quite frankly, a lot of people online are smarter than the people in the stores.
Yeah. So I had to go to the Apple store recently.
Yeah.
And I went to the Genius Bar. Now, thankfully, it was only because my
Not
son,
really genius, but go
the
ahead.
Genius Bar. But my son's phone was dirty, right? But I couldn't get into the inner workings
Yes.
of the phone to clean it. They can.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, their online world their in-person store was very functional.
You have a physical thing you need
for
done.
what I needed done. And they still need their physicalities. But I think if the big box stores go on trend, they are going to get smaller and smaller. And the big box will now be just a store with limited stock of really important things.
Well, you know what it's going back to? Remember the Sears catalog stores?
Oh, wait. Consumers distributing.
Consumers distributing. That one was even older, I think. Well, Sears is older. Consumers didn't allow it, but the difference was consumers had the stuff in the back.
That's true.
The Sears catalog, you go, especially for remote locations, they had a little tiny store with a bunch of catalogs back in the day.
I remember.
And you could order from the catalog because there's no internet. And then it would deliver to the store.
Yeah.
And then you would go pick it up. So in fact, if we look at the older population, they actually were cutting edge e-com people.
That's very true. Actually, the Sears catalog was e-com.
Yeah,
it was just paper e-com.
So, you know, and so I guess if I was arguing with somebody who doesn't like e-com, I would say, but look, did you ever go to the Sears catalog store?
And you purchased it sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
And you couldn't even do the 3D rotation.
No,
you
it
could
was
it was flat.
Static picture.
It was flat. So the difference was back in the day, if I had the Sears catalog, I would fold down the page and write and give it to my parents.
Yeah.
My son sends me links.
Yeah. Same thing.
Same thing.
So
Never
when
really thought
people
about it that way.
say it hasn't changed, it's changed too much. No, it's the same. The delivery method is easier now because you can click links, share it, do it. You don't have to actually give the catalog to somebody physically. But I think, there's a lot that these stores, and it translates to in business. So we're evaluating how programs are delivered now.
Yeah.
Because again, that's changing in the marketplace. So whereas, old school being a couple of years ago, old school,
that's the scary part.
Old school being you would buy, for example, a program and it would only go live, 3 times a year, and you would go through that. And before it was like maybe 2, 3, 4 months of a program, and you would go through it drip every year. Now people just I just need something. I need it now. I'm willing to sit down and watch the whole thing in like a day, but I need the information. So we're actually, we went from drip focused to now giving everything online and some coaching obviously during the week. But now we're actually moving to an even easier model for our clients so that they don't need us. That's fine. Just click the button, watch what you need, learn right away, implement right away, and you're good. So I think if you're in that environment, if that's what you're selling, if you're selling digital products, you're selling any of that, you have to be aware of it, and how things are perceived, how quickly they change. So I just want to say this because this is really interesting to me. Maybe not to anybody else, but to me. So there was somebody selling a program. He sells training and software. And he did a lifetime agency deal like 2 months ago. So if you bought it, and you always included all updates because that's what we did, right? Updates, blah, 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 blah is included. So all these people bought, and this was like literally, I was just reading it. I didn't buy, but they literally bought 2 months ago. So now he's put AI into his software, which is
smart,
phenomenal. But here's the thing. He's going back now and saying, well, you have to buy a subscription base, the same kind of software, but with AI included, and you pay monthly. So in fact, I would consider an AI an update and improvement. So he should have
versus a separate item. Yeah.
And so there's so many people upset in the groups and boards going, look, you just sold this to us like 2 months ago. I just paid whatever they paid, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000. And now you're asking for a subscription-based model for a couple $100 a month to access the same information, but with the AI blended in. And the interesting part is, how many softwares do we own that have added AI in?
A lot.
They didn't charge us extra.
Because it was an upgrade versus a separate product.
Yeah. So it was really interesting to look at it because I was like, it's too bad because he's got this great product, but it's pissing people off.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful with, as you're going, don't go like when you're going to upgrade everything, make sure that it's consistent still with what your customer's doing, what they need, right?
Or be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Saying, here are some other things that we're going to either bring in or add in or are already additional now.
Yeah.
The lifetime deal either does not include that or does, so that you're going in eyes wide open.
Yeah. So let's say like
future improvements.
Like let's say LinkedIn said they were upselling. This is not true, but they were upselling a like a sales navigator package. I don't know what their names are.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
They're upselling that like literally 3 months ago and said, hey, if you buy this package and you do lots of carousels and stuff, we're gonna ensure that our algorithm pushes you forward, right? And let's say they sold that as a package. And now it's 2 months later and they're not going to.
Yeah.
So to me, that would mean that, okay, you reneged on your deal. So, you need to compensate me or do something that will, help because I invested in you. So it's the same thing now. LinkedIn's a big company. They would never do that. That's why I was little surprised at seeing somebody who really is thinking not from the consumer or the customer journey point of view.
Exactly.
And we're very cognizant, and that's why we leave a lot of softwares, because we're very cognizant of our customer journey. And if it, like, there's great things that are great for us, but they don't work for our clients, right? So why would we do it?
Then it doesn't work. Yeah. So there's another software that we're testing out right now as well. And funny that you mentioned Drip, because there was a big conversation on the chat boards, because that's in their future. Right. So it's on their roadmap. And a lot of people who wanted to buy the lifetime deal said, no, if it doesn't have Drip, I can't buy it. And then the other comments, slew of them came in and went, Drip?
Who does Drip?
Who does Drip? Like, what are you, like 1982?
Or like 2022?
Yeah, you're so last season. No, but it's true. Like, and so it's just so interesting to see that is truly how the market is going. That is truly how the trend is going. No longer can you say, if I buy this program now, you will have this in 8 months. Like 8 months? There's no way.
No.
That somebody wants to wait 8 months to implement what they could do in a day, a week, whatever. They want to have control, and that's where the trend is going. So again, when a company says no, it's like, well, hang on, I want to drive what I want to do. So I want to have all of this stuff. If I choose not to use it, and maybe that's where the Drip came in. I don't know. Maybe they want to have control over what they want to do.
Well, I think Drip was fantastic. So for you guys who are course creators, and we teach this in our digital product course that you can take online at any time. So you don't have to wait. No, but we don't Drip it. One of the ways to be able to create content, if you don't want to devote 8 weeks, is to Drip it out. So you create today's content for next week, and the next week you create the following week. So you're just one step ahead of everyone if it's an 8-week course. And that was great. And it's a great way to produce content. But now people don't want to wait anymore. Right. So you can still do it if you're doing, I think that works really great if you're doing like a live 8-week workshop. So every Tuesday you meet live and you can record it. And that still works fantastic because you've got a commitment. But again, there's some people like us who cannot wait 8 weeks to get content. Like it's kind of like, do we hate dripped shows on streaming? Oh, yes, we do. I want all the episodes at once.
And I want to choose when I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if they do, I'll give you half a season. And then you wait about 6 months.
6 months to see the other half. And I still didn't see, I think there was one that I still never saw the last half because I just was like,
but you lose interest.
You don't even remember it.
And you lose momentum. I think that's the biggest. I remember getting a course and they did it, I believe once a month they did something. It was just a really inexpensive course. And it was just, I thought it was interesting at the time. It's probably like 5 years ago. And I remember getting a notification that the next module was available. And I went, for what? Next module for what? And I log in, I went,
oh yeah, right. I bought that.
But I had moved on.
Yep.
Right. I had moved on. I had implemented what I wanted to do. I had done what I wanted to do. Did I make some tweaks? But I actually waited like 3 or 4 months, put a notice in my calendar and said, okay, go check it out. And then I watched the videos because the videos were only like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to wait another month.
No.
So that's too much. That's too long now. And it's again, the trend of the world, right? Of instant information, instant journey that you want to go through. Yes. I mean, look at not even just AI, interactive video, right? Choose your own adventure. I had a conversation yesterday or the day before with a company that's doing interactive video. And I said, here's my scenario. And I think this is a legitimate scenario of, okay, so you've gone through the intro and they said, okay, what do you want to, like a lot of the interactive videos will do like world tours as example, like where do you want to go next? And they'll be like, okay, I want to click Italy as an example. And then you're bored because you don't want to see, you've already seen it, whatever. And you go, oh, I don't want to do Italy. I want to go back and do France.
Yeah.
But in a lot of these ones, it's challenging to go back. You have to go back to that original menu because again, attention span of people, they want to get the information that they want to get. They don't want to watch a 10-minute video of 5 different places. They want to watch a 2-minute video on the place that they want to see. And if they want to do something else, and that's why interactive video is becoming so huge because of that choose your own adventure option that we can now consume what we want to consume when we want to consume.
And there's a big piece in that is, I was just talking about it to somebody the other day, is the handoff piece. Because we're getting used to now starting on our phone And then if it's something that we know it's more detailed or interesting, we want to go to our laptop or a desktop and continue. And a lot of, if you're a year old, you're not allowing that handoff, or you're in Android mode. I don't know if they do the same. So you have to make sure that people can go back and forth, right? They can have conversations here, they can watch the video here and watch it back here. That's a huge thing, because you lose people, including us, in literally 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If, like, even if I'm on a website and I'm trying to buy something and, and it's glitchy or doesn't go smoothly, I'm like, forget it. Move on. Go back to Amazon.
Click and click. That one click box is very dangerous.
As much as you hate the fact that you keep going there, I have to say they're incredibly intelligent.
They know how to, absolutely. I feel like I'm on two ends of the spectrum, because I'm like, I love Amazon, and when I need something fast, I'll just go to Amazon, whatever it is, something simple. But then, you know what? I want to go to a small town and support that small independent store that's single owned. And I will walk in that store and I will buy something because I want to support that local owner.
And you know what?
I don't feel the in between.
No, but you know what's really interesting, and this is what I've just noticed in the last month. Tell me if you feel the same way or not. But the little guys were getting killed, right? Mm-hmm. Getting killed. All the big boxes,
especially with through COVID,
they just got hammered. A lot of them closed. But here's the interesting thing. So yeah, we go to Amazon and we'll buy like $20 yoga pants, right? Like we're like, yeah, we're just $20. Like, fine, I don't care. They're like, we call them disposable clothes, right? Yep. So, but here's the thing. Now if I go into a small little shop that I want to see this stuff, I will pay more.
Yes.
I will pay more than I ever expected to pay in the past going to like a department store or a big box retailer, because these little independents, I'm like, oh, this is really cute, right? This is like triple what I would normally spend. But because I'm doing not as much, they're local, they have a little bit of stuff, I buy it. And I just find that, I think personally, I'm finding that people are the same way in terms of, let's say you own a small independent store that sells TV and stereos. Remember those in the past? And then they went kind of the other way because of, Best Buy and everybody else, and you were just ordering TVs online because that's what you do. But now if you have a small store that they're incredibly smart on everything, they know what they're talking about. Yeah, I'll go in and pay extra because they can answer my questions.
Well, you're not just paying for the item in those circumstances. You're paying for the expertise. You're paying for, you're paying for some of their overhead. You're paying for just that experience, because it's customer experience. When you're buying it online at Amazon, I really don't expect much. I expect them to literally deliver my order.
Yeah, and I expect half the time what I order, I'm like, it's okay.
And you expect it. But that small store, but again, your expectations are higher, right? They're there to help you. You're paying a lot more for the product, but you get a lot more.
Yeah. So I think if you are a small independent store owner, I think there's a resurgence there of combining, as long as you understand to combine social media or exposure, right? To get you out there. I think you have a lot of potential, because, I do live up north now in a smaller location, so I'm used to, it's a different experience.
Right.
But when I go back to the city, the last thing I want to do is go to any of the big boxes. No desire. Do I know they're cheaper? Yeah. Am I going to go? No. I want to go into a little shop and get what I want. Right? Like, it's like there's like the olive oil stores, right?
Exactly.
They're way more money than if you go to the local whatever
grocery store or something.
But I'm going to go there because it's specialized. You get a service, you get to taste it. They know what they're talking about. So will I spend more? Sure. Absolutely. And do I perceive it as being better quality? I do, because you're spending more.
Exactly. And again, it's the whole service around it. Like, you've got a story to tell when you purchase this particular item, instead of had this delivered to my house. It's, I went into the store and they packaged it beautifully and they were really knowledgeable and they gave me some advice on how to use it in a different way than I never thought of. So, I know, have you tried this?
And do you think, so here's an interesting thing. When you're going somewhere and you're buying somebody something, whether it's, a dinner, where do you go? You don't go buy something for them on Amazon.
Nope.
Right? You go to a cute little store, or, us, the LCBO liquor store. You go somewhere, but you go somewhere and you don't think about how much you're spending. You would never like wait for that Amazon box to come in to go. So
Yeah, it's true.
So I think there is a resurgence, and I think there's an interesting trend. And if you're paying attention, anyone out there that has a store and they think they're kind of sinking down the path of bankruptcy, you can tweak and change a few things, and I think you will be more successful than you have in years and years and years, because I don't think the big box guys can keep the momentum up. They're running out of places to build, and it's
well, they're
hard
also like, you think about that Instagram worthy.
Yeah.
Right? You think about what Starbucks did
Yeah.
way back, is they purposely wrote the people's name wrong because they knew people would post on Instagram. So again, the store, when they make things really pretty and they package it and people take pictures of it and go, wow, like look at this. And then they post on Instagram and then you get tagged, and then that's literally free advertising.
Yeah, you love all that. So there's lots of interesting trends going on, whether it's social media or consumer oriented pieces, but you got to keep paying attention. And that's what we talk about. So join us on Wednesdays at your lunch hour. So there's no excuse, because everyone gets a lunch hour.
Exactly. All right. We will see you here next week, because we have a mastermind to run this afternoon, and we're excited about that. So watch out for some changes, because